Prepare for war. Russian President Putin warns the military and cancels the anti-ballistic missile treaty with NATO. In a sobering report prepared by the Ministry of Defense, circulating in the Kremlin today, states that 4 NATO F-16 jet fighters scrambled from Turkey hours ago to harass Russian reconnaissance warplanes flying along Russia's Black Sea coast on one of their routine daily missions was in direct retaliation over President Putin's abrupt cancellation of his cooperation with the North Atlantic Treaty Organization over missile defense yesterday. On Sunday, Turkey scrambled F-16 fighter jets to intercept the Russian and Syrian warplanes that were flying close to the country's airspace, a Turkish military statement said. 2 F-16 fighter jets were sent to intercept a Syrian Su-24 warplane, which was spotted approaching the Yavladagi town of southern province of Hatay near the border, said General Staff of the Turkish Armed Forces, adding that the Syrian aircraft retreated 3.8 miles. The armed forces also said that Turkey scrambled another 4 F-16s after a Russian Il-20 warplane came close to Turkish airspace from the Georgian side and flew parallel to the Black Sea coast. The Russian aircraft largely flew 15 miles away from the Turkish airspace. According to the Ministry of Defense report via EU Times and confirmed by Voice of Russia news service, in a powerful and significant move for peace, Putin canceled a presidential order which in 2011 had set up an interdepartmental working group under the authority of the Russian presidential administration designed to develop ways to establish cooperation with NATO in the sphere of missile defense. Many experts and NATO watchers familiar with the decree and the attempts by the Russian Federation to develop an equal partnership relationship with NATO on the basis of mutual respect and transparency may now breathe a collective sigh of relief that Putin has finally run out of patience with the alliance. The Ministry of Defense report further stated that Putin's move for peace against the U.S.-led NATO alliance is meant to show the West that he will retaliate in force against what he calls U.S. President Obama's insane plan for global tyranny that is even now threatening to destroy America and the European Union. Even more grimly, this report continues, was Putin's ordering the strategic forces to carry out a large-scale surprise military drill last Wednesday, launching 4 nuclear missiles that were closely monitored by U.S. intelligence agencies that included the test of 2 land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles and 2 submarine-launched ballistic missiles. On October 28th, the U.S. and NATO had begun revitalizing a military base in Romania, which will be a crucial part of the American-led anti-missile shield in Europe. The NATO missile defense system remains a bone of contention in U.S.-Russian relations. Moscow has demanded legal guarantees from Washington that missile defense systems deployed in Europe would not target Russian strategic nuclear deterrence capabilities. Washington has refused to grant Russia such assurances, citing a need to protect Europe from rogue states like Iran and North Korea. At the time, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said, "Missile defense remains a burning issue," adding that Russia's position is well known. We are ready for a constructive dialogue with the U.S. and NATO and are open to finding a compromise. But let's not pretend that the incessant talks that there is nothing within the scheme of the American-led ABM that needs to be changed, nor that it's not against Russia. That all this talk can somehow settle things. According to Voice of Russia, the United States/NATO missile defense is considered somewhat of a Trojan horse by the Russian military with first strike capabilities. It has been proven and is now part of the public record that the interceptor missiles and missile shield elements of the U.S. and its NATO allies, the ones that have been surreptitiously placed to surround Russia, can be turned into first strike offensive weapons with almost the literal flick of a switch. These so-called defensive missiles are largely capable of delivering nuclear payloads directly into the heart of Russia. Friends, NATO is conducting military drills aimed at the ability to provide an appropriate response to any aggression coming from enemy combatant countries, and particularly Russia. The U.S. and NATO are building a nuclear-capable anti-ballistic missile system right in Russia's backyard. NATO's F-16s intercepted Russian and Syrian warplanes flying near the Turkish border in what perhaps could be considered a provocation by both sides. Escalating the crisis even further, President Putin abruptly cancels the anti-ballistic missile treaty between themselves and NATO. At or near the same time, Putin ordered two Tupolev Tu-160 Blackjack strategic nuclear bombers, which are currently visiting South America, to stay on indefinite patrol should they be needed to strike the United States. We are living in the last days, and Bible prophecy is being fulfilled rapidly. The Gog-Magog war of Ezekiel 38 and 39 and the burden of Damascus in Isaiah 17 have yet to take place, but events over the last several years have been leading in that direction. Perhaps they will be interconnected and be fulfilled at around the same time. But whatever the case may be, time is getting short. Are you saved? Follow the link in the box below and pray the prayer of salvation with a sincere heart, and you will be saved. May God bless you.